Hi, my name is April Perry, and I'm here to present my portfolio presentation. In my profile presentation, I will be presenting all the fascinating things I found during the duration of this class that really enriched me. And it also helped me with my current job now as a psychic because the mind is a very, very deep, complex place, but we're here to divulge into it today. So, chapter one is the psychological roots of critical thinking and self improvement tools. So, for my chapter one, I wanted to discuss on the importance of psychology and the repercussions of removing any trace of psychology from the fabric of society. So, what I've learned in psychology is that the practice of psychology is a profession, basically to help us learn how to build strong relationships and understand our feelings. If we have feelings of fear, anxiety, depression, we're able to alleviate them and our challenges, and we're able to be able to thrive in a better environment that's socially engaging. And one of the ways that we are able to alleviate our need to talk and just pretty much be understood and communicate a lot of internal feelings, we need clinical psychologists and people who are paid professionals to help us assist us, because that's one of the ways that we're able to articulate our feelings and be able to break them down and be able to understand them. We need counselors. We need professionals to help us administer our medication. And when we don't have that, it could be disarray. Now, you may be wondering why I have this VA Veterans Affairs. Because since the beginning of the Trump presidency in 2025, Trump has made some significant cuts to the Veterans Affairs staff. So what does that mean? That means longer wait times, right? Because of the call back to the office, cramped spaces, could be HIPAA violations as well. And because of all these things, it has made health professionals very uncomfortable to do their jobs, and they're not able to administer the kind of help they need. In fact, they're actually going through their own mental health issues because of the jobs and the issues that have been arising with the budget cuts. Not to mention, there have been a lot of people, just veterans in general, saying that they can't get access to their favorite doctors because there's either extensive wait periods or they've been fired. We need those medical professionals ASAP. We cannot live without them. My husband, this issue hits close to home because my husband is a veteran and he's also clinically depressed. And with the cutbacks, this is hard on him because he needs to be able to have direct access to the VA. So we need to fix this issue like meow. I chose to do my segment on chapter two. Hold on, chapter two. So I wanted to do a little focus on the endocrine system. Basically, the endocrine system is like a traffic house for chemical communication. It's composed of like fat tissue, and it secretes a hormone. They help with growth, reproduction, mood. Basically, they are like the messenger house. So the pituitary gland is very important because it controls the endocrine glands. So the secretions from the pituitary glands help the endocrine because they help like release the hormones. But what if, right? If the endocrine system hormones messenger service did not work properly, or it didn't deliver the chemicals right? What if the pituitary gland didn't secrete properly when releasing these kind of hormones? That's what we want to get into. This is very personal to me because this is me, but this is a lingual hypothyroid. Basically what this is, and it is a form of hypothyroidism. You can like pause it to see. So hypothyroidism, according to the dictionary, is like an underactive thyroid in which the glands do not produce enough thyroid hormone. It's like a deficiency. It can relate to like creating other health problems if uncontrolled. Hypothyroidism can enlarge the pituitary glands due to hyperplasia, which is like rapid growth of cells that can like grow into cancer. There is like a level of excessive thyrotropin. It's like a hormone, and the pituitary glands, like they secrete TSH, which is like thyroid stimulation hormone. And it's like an attempt to stabilize the thyroid systems. The reason why I have this picture up here is because the regulation of thyroid hormone, it begins in the hypothalamus. And it's where the hypothalamus releases like a chemical called thyrotropin. I think I'm saying it right. It goes to the hypothalamic system, and it leads to like the pituitary gland. Now the thyrotropin releasing hormone is like, it helps thyroid like alleviate any type of hormones. It helps release it. Hypothyroidism, it affects the hypothalamus because it interferes with original systems of like hypothalamic, like the ability to produce the hormones. The hypothalamus will just keep releasing hormones, trying to like kick it into gear. It's going to in turn affect hypothalamus. Now we are on chapter 4. I want to go into this story I read about in the text, at the beginning of the text. It's like about this woman named Joan Ruth Bader. She got married, which she went to Cornell University. She even worked for the local like Social Security card office, but she was like demoted because she was pregnant. Luckily, in 1978, they got rid of that. Congress actually enacted a Pregnancy Discrimination Act to prevent that. Anyway, when Ruth Ginsburg, when she ended up going to Harvard because she got married, she ended up being told by her professor, like, why was she even there? She's taking up a space for a man. And it kind of reminded me of like a women's studies class I took where this woman literally had to fight for her rights until she actually got accepted into the U.S. Supreme Court to serve because of her dedication to gender equality when she was older. She was in her 60s. Now, mind you, she applied for the Supreme Court Justice office in like 1970. And it wasn't until 1993 that she was accepted. This is all because of gender roles. Gender roles are basically culturally shaped ideas. They basically give society the limit or the ability to limit or extend privilege. They can do it by gender, by race, but in this situation, gender. Women were not allowed to vote. They didn't receive equal pay. Nada. It even came to the point that women's studies and their inventions were being overlooked, overshadowed, or stolen by other people. Women were commonly underrepresented, even to the point where they weren't even getting funding. There is a way to dismantle about gender equality. First, it starts with the men. Men need to advocate for women to be on their boards, to be in their spaces. They need to also promote any type of like child care or any type of postpartum or prenatal care. Like that even includes taking off from work. They need to advocate for a healthy work balance and like a lot of family leave. Be family oriented. But this relates to gender development. The excerpt, you can find it. But I find it very interesting that even with the I guess 2025, we still have these issues still going on. We're talking about observational learning for chapter 6. I found it very fascinating. So human beings learn basic observational learning by watching other people, and they learn what to do, what not to do based upon the reaction or the response or the reward. In the text, they had an author, Bandura guy, and he basically put a child and an adult in a room, and the adult just got up and just started like socking this like toy named Bobo. Then the child is like taken to another room and they're told they can have all these toys and they're told they can't have all these toys. The child's very frustrated and they have the same little toy that the adult kicked around. And then they take an observational study to see what the reaction would be of the child. And a lot of the child yelled obscenities. They kicked and screamed at the doll, the same behavior that the adult exhibited, which reinforces the point that children are influenced by what they see, what the authority figures do, what is acceptably okay. Basically, children exhibit what they see around them. If they are around a positive, proactive environment, they're going to be positive and proactive, helpful to their community. However, if they're not in a positive, productive environment, they end up being abused. Children copy what they see. And if their behavior is unchecked, they end up being adults that resemble where they come from. Which, if it's from an abusive environment or a sexually deviant environment, well, you got the byproduct of it in that person. That's more of antisocial behavior. There is positive observational learning, and that's pro-social. Which is basically like if you see a little boy, he sees an older woman cross the street, he's going to be more likely to help her because he learned from his father and his male relatives that was the right thing to do. So it's kind of like, is abuse inherited because you've been around an environment that's been perpetuated from century to century, from family to family? Then it becomes generational. The same thing for good acts and good behavior. Which basically says that children are basically comparable to plants, depending on how you water them, depending on how they grow. Learning by observation can definitely identify abused children from non-abused children by placing them in experiences to detail their natural responses, and their natural reaction will tell you about their upbringing real quick. So I'm going to do a part 2 because this is going to go into chapter 11, chapter 12, and chapter 14.